For the first time in history, the two most powerful names in artificial intelligence are both racing to go public. And it was Anthropic, the lab that always called itself the careful one, that made the first move. They did it quietly, slipping the paperwork in behind closed doors before anyone could react. But a number like theirs doesn't stay quiet for long, because a year ago this company was worth a fraction of what it is today. That isn't growth, that's vertigo. And yet, the most revealing part isn't the valuation at all. It's where the money is coming from. Their coding tool, all on its own, has quietly become a huge slice of the entire company. But here's the part they can't dress up. For all of it, they still aren't making money, and they won't be for years. They're betting, and betting big, that Wall Street will carry them the rest of the way. Exactly 7 days later, OpenAI did the same thing. And the way they confirmed it was so on brand, it's almost funny. No careful press release, just a shrug, and an admission that they only said anything because it was going to leak anyway. Same banks, same Wall Street playbook, and a listing that could come even sooner than Anthropic's. But flip it over, and there's a number that should stop you cold. OpenAI is on track to lose more money this year than most companies will ever earn. And it doesn't expect to turn a profit for years. One caveat, and it matters. Those figures are reported, not officially confirmed. So hold them loosely, but the shape of the bet is clear. Spend enormously now and convince the public markets the payoff is coming. This is very interesting, because when Google went public, its biggest rival didn't follow. When Facebook listed, Twitter waited years. Rivals almost never run for the exit at the same time. So when the two best AI labs on Earth file inside the same few weeks, that isn't a coincidence. That's a signal. They're both trying to get out before the window slams shut, before the politics, or the regulators, or the next crisis turns going public into a nightmare. Now, to be clear, you can't buy a single share of either one yet. Nothing's trading. These are still just filings. But the era where the most powerful AI lived only inside private companies, that's quietly ending. And we're watching it happen in real time. Now, while America was busy racing to Wall Street, China was quietly answering a completely different question. Not whose model is the smartest. Who owns the factory the whole thing runs on? Reporting points to a 5-year national plan to build out AI infrastructure on a scale that's genuinely hard to picture. Think a power grid, but for computation, wired across an entire country and run by the state. But the giant headline number isn't the real story here. The chips are, because China can't legally buy NVIDIA's best hardware. So instead of fighting that wall, they're building the whole thing to root around it, and mostly on their own homegrown silicon. And here's where you have to be careful with that number. Because 2 American companies, just 2, are spending more on AI this year alone than China's entire 5-year plan. So this was never about outspending Silicon Valley. It's about something more durable. A compute base that's entirely homegrown, coordinated from the top, and completely immune to American chip bans. And that's the part that actually matters. America still builds the better models, no question. But this week, the race stopped being only about who's smartest and started being about who can pour the most concrete. And that is a very different contest. Now, while all the loud headlines were playing out, something quietly flipped underneath them. There's an index that tracks what tens of thousands of real companies actually pay for. Not hype, receipts. And for the first time ever, businesses are spending more on Claude than on ChatGPT. Here's how wild that is. A year ago, this wasn't even close. OpenAI led by something like 10-1. In 12 months, Anthropic erased almost all of it. And the thing doing the damage is Claude Code, that same coding tool from a few minutes ago. Now, fair warning, other surveys land on different numbers, but every single one of them points the same direction. Now an update on the strangest story in AI and politics right now. Anthropic's most powerful model has now been switched off for 2 full weeks. Not by hackers, by the government. And the trick that set it off is completely public now. In plain terms, researchers found a way to talk the model past its own safety rules. And then they wrote down exactly how they did it. Anthropic said it would be back within days. That was a week and a half ago, and the model is still dark. But here's the twist I can't get over. The product actually making Anthropic its money doesn't even run on this model. So the flagship sits frozen in the spotlight, while the quiet workhorse just keeps printing cash. But don't write OpenAI off. Because while it's losing the office, it is absolutely winning the living room. ChatGPT just crossed 1 billion people using it every month. And to put that in perspective, it got there faster than any app in history. Faster than Maps, faster than Instagram. It's now fielding billions of questions every single day, which makes it less of an app and more of a utility, like electricity or search. So that's the real shape of this rivalry. Anthropic is quietly taking to businesses. OpenAI owns the public. And right now, both of those are winning hands. And here's a small story that's secretly a massive one. GitHub's coding assistant used to cost 1 flat monthly fee. Simple, predictable. Now you pay by how much you use it. Which sounds boring until you realize the heaviest users are suddenly staring at bills in the hundreds of dollars a month. And this is the first big AI tool to flip that switch. But it will not be the last. Because the all-you-can-eat era of AI is ending. And if your day job quietly runs on these tools, the meter just started ticking. You're gonna feel it. Okay, last story, and it's the one everyone called wrong. A couple weeks ago, the whole industry was braced for OpenAI's next model to land any day. A test build even flickered onto a public site, then vanished right on cue. Betting markets had a launch this week at better than 80%. Then traders just walked away, and the odds collapsed to 18%. And honestly, it tracks. We're nearly through its launch window with nothing official. No system card, no release notes. The longer that silence drags, the more the bet falls apart. But here's what I'd still watch whenever it lands. The price. Because the moment OpenAI undercuts what businesses pay today, this is no longer a product launch. It's a direct shot at Anthropic's brand new enterprise lead. Meanwhile, Google has a promise it's about to break. Back in the spring, on its biggest stage of the year, Google promised its next flagship model would ship this month. Well, the month is almost gone, and the only people who can actually touch it are a handful of big enterprise customers. Everyone else, the app, the public, all still waiting. When it finally lands, it's supposed to hold more in its head at once than any model out there, which is genuinely impressive. But a promise made on the keynote stage comes with a clock attached. And that clock runs out in a matter of days. And when you line those last two up, something clicks into place. Both of these models are about to launch into a world that just changed the rules on them. Because we now have proof that a government will reach in and switch a model off. That has never been true before. So the question stops being only, how smart is it? And starts being, who is comfortable letting it exist? Every launch from here carries that weight. Capability used to be a tech problem. Now it's a political one. So pull all the way back and look at one single week. 2 companies sprinting for the stock market at a combined value almost too big to say out loud. A country building an entire AI economy that never touches an American chip. The most capable model on Earth, switched off by a government. 1 billion people leaning on this stuff every month. And the business world quietly changing sides. A year ago, AI was a story about research. This week, it became a story about money and power, and who gets to control the most important machine we've ever built. That's the week, and it is only going to get louder. The betting markets keep changing their minds on exactly when. But make no mistake, the launches coming down the pipe are going to be huge. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.